Friends are sharing their memories of a teenager killed in a weekend car crash.
Family members say they're relieved after police charged 4 people in a loved one's murder.
Hillary Clinton makes one last visit to Kentucky ahead of tomorrow's primary.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Friends call her a kind and loving person. Today, they're sharing their memories of a teenager killed in a crash.
19-year-old Alexis Thompson died yesterday after losing control of her car and it hit a fence in Bourbon County. WKYT's Mike Byer talked to friends of Thompson's in our top story at 5.
She was a very sweet, caring person. She was always there for me when I needed her.
Taylor Pace and Alexis Thompson had been inseparable since they became best friends in middle school.
If a guy treated me wrong, that she was going to beat him up or drop kick him because she was like a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something like that.
But yesterday morning, everything changed.
I just collapsed in the middle of the store. My mom basically had to carry me out.
Kentucky State Police say Alexis was driving on Clintonville Road on her way to work when she lost control of her car and went through a fence. Investigators say a piece of that fence came through the windshield. Alexis died at the scene.
I just want to keep her spirit alive.
Haley Smoot had been friends with Alexis since the 6th grade.
Alexis was one of the sweetest people you would have ever met. She always was very caring. She always had a smile on her face.
Now heartbroken, Alexis's friends are remembering the way she used to be and her irresistible personality.
Alexis runs up the parking lot and she says, "Hey, Haley, you're coming home with me today. My dad says that you can come home with us."
Remembering the good times, struggling through the bad, they're holding on to each other and what they had.
I'm going to see her again someday, and she's going to be there. And I don't think that this is the end.
Mike Byer, WKYT.
Alexis graduated from George Rogers Clark High School in 2015 and was studying at Morehead State University. The high school says they have made grief counselors available for the students. Last week probably had you singing "Rain, Rain, Go Away," but that's not going to happen.
Doesn't sound like it. After a weekend break, we have more showers coming. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here now with a rainy forecast. We had a brief break, I would say, right?
Yeah, about that big of a window of some dry air out there for our Sunday. Guys, over the past 3 weeks in Lexington, yesterday was the 5th day in 3 weeks that it did not rain. Think about that one for a little bit. And some rains are beginning to fall yet again here in Lexington. Very light, but getting in on a leading band of some lighter rain out at the airport, dropped to 57. And there you see the drops that are coming down as well. What's interesting is that it's raining and the humidity as it started raining was only at 37%. It's only at 44%. So that dry air is going away very, very quickly. Leading edge of this first little batch of showers stretching from Campton, Stanton, Clay City, Winchester, a heavier downpour right on top of Lexington over toward Versailles. And you notice how that arcs its way back toward the Louisville Metro. A little farther to the west, the rain train from Owensboro, south of St. Louis, and into sections of northern Arkansas is gathering steam, and it is rolling toward the east. Look at the future radar hour by hour, and notice how the green all of a sudden just really begins to take over as we go into the latter part of the evening and through the overnight. I'm not talking about a lot of thunderstorms. I'm talking about a very soggy setup, not only for the next couple of days, but then again later this week. A few breaks show up in the rain. We'll time those in the cooler than normal temperatures when I come back in a little while.
Chris, thank you. 4 people have been charged in a teenager's murder. 18-year-old DeMichael Bolton was shot and killed outside the Eagle Lake Convention Center in Anderson County in October. WKYT's Hillary Thornton talked to Bolton's sister, who says the family is glad to see progress in the case.
7 months later, 4 people now charged with murder for the shooting that happened in the parking lot here behind me, killing 18-year-old DeMichael Bolton. The months that have passed have been difficult for Bolton's friends and family after the 2015 Bryan Station grad was killed back in October outside of Eagle Lake Convention Center. State police say they were out on a traffic stop near Eagle Lake where a large party was going on. Troopers say that is when they heard multiple gunshots and rushed over to the parking lot where they found the 18-year-old from Lexington with a gunshot to the head. William Edwards, Kenneth Berry, and Kendall Berry, who were all already in the Fayette County Detention Center, along with Antoine James, an inmate at Blackburn Correctional Facility, all with lengthy drug-related criminal records, now each facing a murder charge. According to the arrest citations, investigators getting enough to charge the men thanks to video of the crime. Troopers say in that video, both Edwards and Kindleberry are seen shooting a handgun into or around a group of people.
Had ideas, and we was just when is something gonna happen? But it's here now, so that's good.
Kentucky State Police say they are still looking for 2 others wanted in the case. In Anderson County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
And those suspects will be arraigned on June 9th. Kentuckians head to the polls tomorrow. On the Democratic side of the ballot, voters will be making their choice for the party's presidential nomination.
Hillary Clinton is back in Kentucky today trying to win more votes. WKYT's Garrett Weimer's live now at the Transylvania University area where Mrs. Clinton will speak later tonight. Garrett?
Yeah, Kentucky has been a battleground ahead of Tuesday's primary. Both Democratic candidates have traveled around the state making their final push before Kentuckians go to the polls. And folks here are lined up outside the Beck Center at Transylvania University for Hillary Clinton, who's scheduled to be here around 6:45. Now, with 60 delegates, including 5 superdelegates at stake, the candidates have been fighting for votes here in the Bluegrass. Clinton held rallies in Louisville and Covington yesterday and Bowling Green earlier today. Bernie Sanders is in Puerto Rico, but made several stops around Kentucky over the weekend.
I'm asking you to come out and vote for me on Tuesday. And if you vote for me on Tuesday, I will stand up and fight for you through this campaign and every day in the White House.
Very few people would have believed that this coming Tuesday we're going to win a great victory right here in Kentucky. And by the way, I think we're going to win in Oregon as well. So.
Hillary Clinton won Kentucky's Democratic primary in 2008, but now she's looking to slow down Sanders' momentum. He's won the last several primaries, including the contest in neighboring Indiana and West Virginia. Live in Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And Oregon's primary is also tomorrow. It appears Clinton and Sanders will battle until the very last vote is cast in mid-June.
While Republican Donald Trump appears to have his party's nomination wrapped up, he still finds himself in the middle of a battle. Craig Boswell has today's campaign 2016 headlines.
I need your vote tomorrow.
Hillary Clinton's final push for votes in Kentucky ahead of Tuesday's primary included jabs at the presumptive GOP nominee.
If you get a hold of Donald Trump's plan for the taxes of this country, it is trickle-down economics on steroids.
But Clinton must first defeat her Democratic challenger, Bernie Sanders. Sanders is on a roll, having won the last 2 primaries, and is expected to do well in Tuesday's votes in Oregon and Kentucky.
El pueblo de Puerto Rico es más importante.
He's even campaigning in Puerto Rico Monday, scrounging for every vote possible. Sanders is vowing to stay in the race until the last votes are cast. Washington, D.C. is the final primary on June 14th. For the Republicans, the race is effectively over, but the road for Donald Trump is far from smooth. Trump is on the defensive after a New York Times article detailed accusations of his poor treatment of women. Trump responded on Twitter, calling the article dishonest, and pointed out an interview with a former girlfriend featured in the piece who claimed she was misquoted.
They did take quotes from what I said, and they put a negative connotation on it. They spun it to where it appeared negative.
True or not, it brings attention to an already high-profile issue that most women voters are not fond of Trump. A recent poll shows 64% of women surveyed had an unfavorable view of the billionaire. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
The Republican National Committee chairman told CNN today that he doesn't think voters are judging Trump on his earlier personal life.
It's going to be a few days before work begins again to try and fix a sinkhole. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Garrett County. Crews there filled the sinkhole, threatening a home and a road on Fork Church Road in Garrett County on Friday. But the sinkhole reopened the next day, and the property owner thinks that the rain played a role in it. He and county officials want to keep an eye on the weather forecast before trying to fix it again.
The road department and the judges out here this morning, they said they'd just hold out until see what happened when all this rain came.
The family that lives in the home is staying put. The property owner says they're not worried because the home was built on a concrete slab. We're tracking the search for a missing Laurel County teenager. The sheriff's office has issued a golden alert for 13-year-old Michaela Mayfield. She was last seen alone about 1 o'clock this morning at McNew Lane, south of London. Police say she may want to try and hurt herself. In Boyle County, police need your help to try and solve a car break-in case. The Danville Police Department released this video on their Facebook this afternoon. In the video, you can see a man or a car next to the space to the van. Once it does move on, someone gets out and breaks in the window. If you have any information, you're asked to call Danville Police.
The Supreme Court is sending a battle over birth control back to the lower courts. Faith-based groups are challenging part of the Affordable Care Act designed to spare them from paying for birth control. The justices are asking the lower courts to find a compromise on the issue. Experts say the outcome suggests the court lacked the majority needed to rule. There is an empty seat on the court following the death of Justice Antonin Scalia in February. A package of bills addressing the deadly opioid epidemic could soon be on President Obama's desk.
On Capitol Hill, 2 congressmen from Kentucky are among the House members celebrating the achievement. Our Washington correspondent, Kelly Meyer, talks to both of them in a story that's new at 5.
We are all united around one common tragedy.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, drug overdose is the leading cause of accidental death in the United States. Now Congress is taking steps to address the issue.
I feel so good about this legislation that we finally were able to pass that will enable everybody to get on board with a program that works.
The House of Representatives passed a package of 18 bills aimed at ending the opioid crisis, targeting treatment, education, and prevention. For veteran Kentucky Congressman Hal Rogers, it's a problem he says he's been trying to address for over a decade.
As we go along, we will adequately fund best we can.
Rogers says it's going to take all levels of government, from state and local to here at the federal government, to address the issue, as well as people back home who want to donate to the cause. In Kentucky, Congressman Andy Barr's home district helped form their own drug task force. That very task force helped craft ideas that were included in the final opioid package passed by the House, showing that each American has a voice on this issue.
We're happy that our task force in Central and Eastern Kentucky was able to contribute in a meaningful way.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
And the House is now waiting to meet with the Senate to merge their packages and get to the president's desk. Congressman Rogers unveiled a funding package to battle the Zika virus today. The measure includes $622 million in funding, about a third of the money President Obama requested. The money will pay for vaccine development, mosquito control, and Zika tests. The bill will be financed with unspent funds from battling Ebola and leftover funds from the Department of Health and Human Services. Over the weekend, we told you about Hannah Ellis performing her song Officer Down at the U.S. Capitol. Now on WKYT.com, you can see her full performance. Ellis co-wrote the song after her cousin, Officer Daniel Ellis, was shot and killed in Richmond. She performed the song in front of thousands of people at the U.S. Capitol over the weekend for the National Peace Officers Memorial Service. You can see her full performance right now on WKYT.com.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Doctors have performed a first-of-its-kind surgery. Last week, a man received the nation's only penile transplant. Dr. Malika Marshall is in Boston, where doctors talked about the procedure today.
64-year-old Thomas Manning is recovering after receiving the first penis transplant in the United States. Doctors at Massachusetts General Hospital used the transplanted organ of a deceased donor.
He's doing well so far. We spoke with him this morning. He's up and about, out of bed.
Manning was diagnosed with cancer in 2012. Doctors had to remove most of his genitals to save his life. Manning is expected to remain here at Mass General for the next 3 to 4 days. His doctors are cautiously optimistic that normal urination and sexual function will be possible in the weeks and months ahead. But they say, as with any transplant, there is the possibility of rejection.
There are different tissues involved, different lymphatic tissues. So we'll just have to take it day by day and see how we go.
In a statement, Manning said, quote, "Today I begin a new chapter filled with personal hope and hope for others who have suffered genital injuries, particularly for our service members who put their lives on the line and suffer serious damage as a result." He says he's sharing his story to remove any shame or stigma associated with genital cancers and injuries. Dr. Malika Marshall for CBS News, Boston.
This is the third transplant of its kind in the world. The first was in China in 2005, but the organ was removed 2 weeks later. Last year in South Africa, a 21-year-old patient made a full recovery and regained all function in the transplanted organ. High school students have been recruited to help fight the Zika virus. The mosquito-borne virus has been linked to a serious birth defect. The U.S. Department of Agriculture wants to track mosquitoes that carry Zika, but they don't have a lot of money to do it. The agency is asking high school science classes to collect mosquito eggs in their community and upload data to make an online map. The information helps researchers and mosquito controllers identify hot spots.
Not only are they doing great science in my classroom, which is what I want, but they're also contributing to a greater cause.
I think it's amazing to be a part of. At first I thought this was just like a school project, but it's much bigger than that.
The USDA hopes to adapt the program for middle schools, scout troops, and gardening clubs. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.